Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Thank you, Shreya.
Thank you,
Kangana,
Shreya. Hi, Anuradha.
are you taking over?
Sorry, I thought it's my turn.
That you now know exactly what the next hour will play out like, okay? This lady likes to be in charge. She listens to no one. She does her own thing. Now, Shreya has talked about her film career, her filmography, and it's an impressive body of work. You all know that. I'm delighted you're here for the Rising India Summit, not just because you're one of the most talented actors of our times, but because you are a self-made person. You've made space for yourself by taking on every convention that's come your way. You're the outsider who's told an entire network of insiders, make way, I'm here. Okay? And here's what I find even more interesting. Every step that Kangana's made in her journey has been in full public view. She has chiseled her identity in front of all of us. And as she's done that, she's compelled us to stop, to think, and to reassess how we think and look at things. So Kangana, Rising India, if we need an ambassador, here you are.
Well,
I want you to hear some stuff Kangana has said, unplugged. Take a look.
People very conveniently ask this question to women, but they would never ask this question to a man. This question itself is unfair and shouldn't be asked. And I think our generation is had the baggage where at least the next generation won't be asked this question. Never listen to anyone. Do your own thing. If you are smart enough and lucky enough to land a break, you would carry on your own. But if you listen to someone else, you can't take responsibility for their mistake. Now that's a very bad thing to do. So don't take anyone's advice. That's my advice. I started at 17. At 28, I do understand when, there is like certain xenophobia around, people who come from the outside and they do, they questioned everything. They questioned everything about me, from the place that I belong to, my age, my accent, my existence itself, everything was questioned, We don't have to have that sort of parental attitude towards audiences that we need to protect them from, like for example, I'll speak from my experience. In my film Queen, we had a little shot of, in that part where I share my room with boys, so there was a little funny moment where a guy spots my brown bed, just lying on the bed, and I just sort of put it under the blanket or something like that. So my director called me and told me the censor is blurring the bra. A woman's bra is not a danger to society. There's nothing vulgar about it.
If you care so much about your family life, about this image, that image, like children and all of them, then don't have affairs. It's as simple as that. My ultimate dream is to be autonomous, in every sense, and to be this self-sufficient entity who operates on her own, because I'm fed up of taking instructions.
Okay, now you can talk, Kangana.
Anuradha has done her full research. But I'm glad that because of this interview, we could interact and you got to see some of my conversations. And I wonder that if you all are already tired, or are you having your coffee, or you've had enough talks?
No, we are waiting for more. So
yeah, I've been looking forward to this talk, so I hope you guys can keep yourself a bit aware for another some time, or have some coffee, or we can talk about something more fun like food or sex or something else.
sex? Come on, let's start with sex. Okay, so let's start with sex. You know why?
No, we come to that later.
Later?
That's our hook, to keep them hooked.
She's going to make films. You're going to wait to see her films, right? Because she knows how to keep you hooked. Okay, Kangana, let's go straight to something that you did and said, which touched a chord, I think, with everybody, no matter what age and no matter where they were. And that is when you, as the outsider, called out the fact that the industry that you worked in is a network, an insidious network of insiders. You called out Karan Johar for being a nepotist. How did you think before you did it?
Honestly, I didn't think that it's going to be a national topic when I spoke about it, because nepotism is a prevalent thing that a lot of people talk about. In fact, we grew up, hearing stuff here and there because this person got a job, because, they had some friends or family, or, how opportunities. Sometimes even my own parents, how cousins, they will say, "Ke yaar, wahan pe meri wo file pe sign karwa dena," things like that. So we've seen these things growing up. And honestly, I like I said, I am not some activist here. I would love to be. I think I'll be a happier person if I can start to work for society. But for me, it was just an observation, and I just feel that it just became a national debate because at that point of a time, it was everyone's sort of subconsciously, people were observing it and they wanted to talk about it. And it just sort of, it was a catalyst that I said it on that popular show. And because Karan is so popular, so I think it just kind of made it into a national debate.
What are the invisible ways that an outsider is made to feel excluded?
Well, you can feel excluded if you sort of stick out. It's not that others have to make you feel that way. You yourself can feel that way. If you don't know English, you will not understand most of the conversations. I remember when I was working, so they used to tell me कि तुम्हारे अभी 2 scenes हैं. तो मुझे लगता था सिर्फ 2 scene हैं, मतलब आधे घंटे में खत्म हो जाएगा. So I did not know the difference between shot and scene. The same way, like a person who understands how the film techniques and the technicalities of this business work, they will not be so immature. Like I remember a magazine cover when I was very new, they called me and they're like, "We want to do a cover with you." I said, "You'll have to talk to my manager," and apparently you don't get paid for doing covers. I didn't know the difference between building a brand and doing a brand endorsement. So I'm like, my manager would tell you how much I charge for a cover, and they're like, "What? She's mad." So I was banned from that magazine for some 5 years, and I wonder why. So things like that. If you're an outsider, it's very hard to sort of, get your way through. And I mean, you don't have people who will guide you or who will tell you what to do. And if you're lucky enough, and if you're insistent and persistent, and you know that you have to make it, then you will observe and you will learn. But it's not a fair expectation to have that, oh, people should be responsible for me and people should make me feel at home, or people should tell me what to do because I don't know. I think, how it is, everyone's very busy. If I am at my workspace tomorrow, if I direct, I don't expect that an actor comes to the set thinking that, oh, I should be told what to do. I mean, I can tell you what to do, but we should know.
So you're saying it's okay the way outsiders are treated? Is that what you're saying today?
No, I'm saying it's okay to be discriminated and to be, sort of an underdog, because I think the biggest problem is that people come with the baggage of, their own perception of themselves, which is larger than life, that, I think that is not a good trap. It's okay. Like I was okay with when I was treated that way, I was not whining about it. You must have never heard me say it. It's only when I made it, I put my observation out there and I said, this is how it functions. Only to prepare people that when you come, don't think it's just happening to you. It happens to everyone. But I don't want to instill that thing that, oh, before you do something and before you set a precedent, before you be someone, you get into the mode of, like how the world should be to me. The world is the way it is, and it's not going to be fair. You've got to make sure that, you know how to work around it.
So do you think what you told Karan Johar made a difference to his worldview, to the way he looks at the world? Because he's the most powerful guy in your business. And have you paid a price for it?
Well, it was not for Karan Johar. I mean, why should he change his ways? I've written a big letter on it that if it works for him, it's a democracy. We can't tell him to hire this one or that one, right? Just the same way, I, as an outsider, I have the privilege of putting my point out there and tell people who come from the outside that, look, this is how, like, if you're walking on my footsteps, you've got to know what all I dealt with. You can't ask me to shut up. But at the same time, you can't ask him to, like, believe in the talent that he doesn't believe in. He believes in tenacity. He believes in the bloodline. He believes in whatever, and it works for him, isn't it? So we can't tell him that he has to change his way around. We've got to make sure that, so there are people who are coexisting. There is a Karan Johar and there is a Kangana Ranaut also. So we've got to have that balance in the society.
You were here last night, you heard the Prime Minister speak. I think you just missed Smriti Irani. These are all people who sort of came in from the outside, isn't it? Do you feel, when we talk about rising India, do you feel it is about the outsider, people who've always been, nose pressed against the glass, looking in at something, whether it's the movie business, politics, power, academics, influence? Do you think that today the outsider stands a much better chance than they ever did to make it in India?
Yeah, like I told you before that I am a big Modi fan because he's, like, wow, there are many Modi fans here. Okay.
You have to tell us why.
Yeah, because for me, like, unfortunately, I'm not politically aware, or I don't read paper either, which is not a good thing to do. But for me, like, the success story, like, as a young woman, I do believe that we need to have right role models. I mean, the graph and the ambition of an ordinary man, and whenever, like, we have a prime minister who's a chai wala, so I always say that it is not his victory, it's the victory of our democracy. So I am a big fan, and I feel that he's the right role model. For me, like, I do see that right now is the time where we are going to have a breakthrough. We are going to strike that balance where, like I said, the world will never be perfect, but at least it should be balanced so we can sustain our society and our environment. And this is the right time, like you said. A lot of people are coming out. A lot of people are talking about their stories. The myth of fairy tale has been, burst. That oh, I am this lucky person. Everything ever, no bad thing ever happened to me, and I just woke up and the world. I always knew I am this amazing person, and then it's just about time, and the world also realized this. That narrative has completely crashed. It's the underdog. It's the one who who people identify with. So this is the right time, and like I always say, in a democracy, it's very important that we work on equal opportunities, whether it happens or not. But this is the right way to go about it.
So Kangana, the nepotism thing that you called out is speaking up, speaking out, okay? When you do speak out, what is the trade-off? What do you lose? Do you think about it consciously? Another actor, Swara Bhaskar, recently wrote about Sanjay Leela Bhansali's Padmavat, criticizing it, saying that he had reduced the woman to the vagina.
I don't think she criticized it. Like I said, critique is art. Whenever someone writes a piece of critique, it's an art form. First of all, the way she was criticized and the way she was shamed and bullied was our loss. We as a society, we failed. Whenever a woman voices her opinion, or any man or whoever, she's an artist, she's a legitimate artist, she has the right to speak her mind, and it was a very well-written piece of, like, I didn't agree with it, but I read it in the morning and I was like, oh, fine, but there was something like maybe in a very micro level, which was pleased, that, look, she, like, all of us are busy, like, we don't have time to even text anyone. To write, because I write and I know that the writing and इतना लंबा उसको फिर edit करो, उसको बैठो, फिर उसको वो tweet करो, it's a process. So So I personally felt that, you know, it's amazing that she took time and she put her thoughts together and she put it out there. उसको attention चाहिए तो दे दो उसको attention यार, क्या हो गया? मतलब इतना attention की वजह से आप जूते फेंकेंगे क्या? मतलब इतना, this is really heartbreaking. The kind of abuses she got. Apparently people went up to the extent of saying कि वो जो है इतने अच्छे से अगर एक स्लट का रोल प्ले कर सकती है तो वो क्या जाने वजाइना क्या है? अरे मतलब what is this? People are talking about her. She's played a role of a prostitute. They were
in Anarkali of Ara.
In that film Anarkali of Ara, and they were like, if you can, the entire shaming was based on the fact that she has played a prostitute in a film, that too very nicely. So what is her character? I didn't know where to look and where to be. I just wanted to melt and bury myself in the, So my point is, as a society, do we realize that what we do when we shut a woman and push her and shove her into her shell, what happens? I'm sure Swara is not going to be worried about her. Again, like, she's a strong woman. She'll come out and in 6 months, she'll again write a piece of critique, which is subjective. I might like it, someone might not like it. But hundreds and millions of other women who have important stories to tell, who have important precedents to set, who really need help, what do we tell them? And it is deliberate. It's not happening in a subconscious manner कि हाँ अरे हमने सोचा नहीं, अब तो सब लड़कियां सोचेंगी बाप रे इससे तो अच्छा है छोड़ो बात ही क्या करनी. No, it's being done deliberately by the ones who fear this movement कि ये क्या है, सोशल मीडिया है, अब तो सब बाहर आने लग जाएंगे, छोटी छोटी बातें भी बाहर आएंगी. क्यों डर लग रहा है? मुझे तो डर नहीं लगा. मैंने वो लेटर पढ़ा, मुझे कोई डर नहीं लगा. मुझे I might not be, like I said, convinced about it, but मुझे डर नहीं लगा. ये जो लोग डर रहे हैं, ये जो तिलमिला रहे हैं, ये जो बौखला गए हैं, इनको किस चीज का डर है? I want to know. What are they fearing?
How is it? How have you conquered fear? You know, where the mind is without fear. We know that famous line, right? Where the mind is without fear. How do you rid your mind of fear? Fear of ridicule, fear of shame, fear of losing love. Fear of losing love, I think, is the biggest thing, right? How do you overcome fear? How did you do it? Tell us your story.
Well, fear is, it's a very internal process. If you see, fear is not something that someone else instills in you. If you think about it, I'll give you a small analogy. क्योंकि मेरे से बहुत question पूछते हैं और मैंने सोचा यार ऐसे कैसे मैं, how can I explain? So I have made an analogy that if I was a kid and I have spilled tea on my mama's sari. Now I go home and I go school and I'm thinking कि मम्मी ने देख ली होगी, मम्मी ने देख ली होगी, मम्मी ने देख ली होगी. I'm crippled with fear. And whole day I am scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. So by the time I come home, I get slapped. So I expected this. Now cut to, if I haven't, my twin sister has spilled coffee on a sari. I go school, I have nothing to come, I come back, I still get slapped because mama thought it was me. But look, in both situations, I did not, in one situation I was full of fear and the other situation I was not. I must have some sort of grudge. I must have had, in second situation, I must think, why did my mama hit me? I must have some sort of, anger. But I won't be fearful even when I got hurt. In both situations I got hit by my mama. So my point is that fear is something that comes out of our own actions. So I can only say that what I do and whenever I say, I only ask myself that am I saying it for my own personal gain or am I just saying it because this is the glaring evident, this is the truth which everyone can anyway see. I always say things which are so, to me at least, they look quite evident that it's all there and
it's the truth as you see it.
Exactly. If I don't see it, doesn't mean it's going to disappear. So so sometimes I say and sometimes I'm not asked, I don't say.
So speaking out is what I'm going to loosely term a lot of things that you have done, okay? Speaking out, it's a loose term. What's the price you've paid? What is the price you've paid? Is there a trade-off? Have you paid a price?
Oh yeah, stress. Stress, it gives you a lot of stress because, I don't know, but when you speak out, the price is very small. What you get in return, you get a lot of love also. Because like I said, if you say things which are anyway so evident and it's just the glaring truth, so there are going to be people who will like, I got some 5 hugs when I was sitting here, and I get very warm hugs and a lot of sort of, you know, like I feel a certain intimacy with people even when I don't know them, because it's like, you know, like, so we understand each other, that kind of intimacy, because I kind of live a very open life. So I think people sort of give me a lot of warmth. That is what I earn, but the price is stress.
Is it just stress? Is it not, are there no substantive material losses that come your way?
Material losses I don't care about, because
No, but you're an independent woman, you're a professional.
I earn also. So my point is that for me it's not that I have to earn a certain amount of money. If I am, you know, sort of doing well for myself, that's enough. But I'm saying stress as in like there are some notices and unnecessary media thing, and sometimes there are even serious accusations, you know, that could have landed me in jail. So that kind of stuff gets a bit serious, and stress comes because, look, in this situation, even my parents can't help me, you know, because I come from an influential family, but back home, like in Himachal. So, बेचारों के उनके influence सिर्फ वो मंडी मनाली तक ही हैं. So if I get jailed in Mumbai, they won't be able to do anything. So I get scared sometimes, oh, this is getting too serious. But then somehow, by the grace of God, I'm still out and still here and talking.
But are you excluded? Are you the pariah? Are you the person who's like untouchable?
Completely.
Oh, leave it alone.
Nobody gossips in front of me because they know it's going to go out, and on which stage, which platform, nobody knows. And now, though, even, you know, like all these parties and friends that I used to have very sort of frank relationship, wo bhi aa gayi. So it's like I've been completely excluded, but it's not that bad. I'm not going to tell anyone who's doing who. I mean, I'm not that petty. They can tell me.
Has it affected work? In the movie business, has it affected the work that's coming your way because of your personality, not because of your acting?
No, I can't say that, because the kind of work that I want to do, I'm still able to do. And people who actually don't matter to me in terms of creative artists, people do matter to me, but I'm talking about in a creative way. The collaboration I would want to have, they're still there. And the ones that I don't care about, it's okay.
Time to talk about sex, or a little later?
Yes, why not?
It's not a movie.
No. Censor board is very lenient, and I think...
Censor board, Prasun?
Yeah, Prashun sir is the best person to have on this chair and this position. We are very delighted. Because he's very busy and he's the most in-demand writer, and when you're working and when you're so busy, it's an act of selflessness to give your time to something which is so consuming and let your, you know, sort of artistic work take a back seat.
So Kangana, please, it's not just selflessness, it's also power.
It is power, but with power comes a lot of sacrifice, you know, like if you are utilizing, the power is only there when he's righteous. In one film, if he, you know, sort of, if he loses his sense of justice and being fair, he might have the position, but he won't have the respect. If he loses the respect, he won't have the power. So I mean, power he has because he's constantly earning that power.
So tell me, do you think we would see radically different cinema if Kangana Ranaut was CBFC chairperson?
No, I can't be better than Prashun sir, no way. He's very good.
Okay, so Kangana, you know, before we talk about sex, let's talk about men, because you're heterosexual. So it's men, I'm guessing, safely.
This is getting too personal, but yeah.
So, why? Okay, let me ask you this.
And I was told she's the most non-controversial interviewer. Doesn't look like it.
Okay, listen. So here's the thing, Kangana. Over the last couple of years, I have heard you, I have read about this horribly ugly unraveling of what must have started as a love affair. Okay? And I have heard you talk again and again and again because you have to protect your credibility and reputation and set the record straight always.
No, that's not the
No?
intention. The intention is that why something so unimportant should become a big mystery in my life.
Yeah.
You know, it's just of no relevance.
So-
You want to, that's why I always say, if you make things so, you guard them with so much love, they become the aura of your life. I want to guard, say, my children like that, so they become aura of my life. I want to guard my skill, my talent like that. I want to guard the most amazing, beautiful, glittering personality aspects. Why would I guard such a, something which has gone so wrong in my life? And why can't I share it with people? It's not that it's something that has never happened before. It happens, and it's unfortunate, and if it's looked at properly, maybe very fortunate also. So it doesn't matter.
So Kangana, here's the thing. How bad does it feel when a love affair goes so awfully wrong? Because I'm guessing that you were deeply in love with Hrithik Roshan at one point, and then to be let down like that. What does it feel like? I want to know.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, so look, at every point of time, you're going to feel that you will never be able to love again. From 16, I've been feeling like that. I have had so many affairs. हमेशा ऐसा लगता है बस अब तो मुझसे जिंदगी ने सब कुछ ले लिया अब तो मुझे कभी प्यार नहीं होगा. So right after when this thing fell apart, another man came in my life, and I'm like, नहीं हो पाएगा मुझसे. I can't fall in love like that. But in 2-3 months, things changed, and I felt I was again ready and how, and I was at it. And I felt that everything, for me, like love is not just a physical experience or intimacy. For me, it has to be something which is beyond that, something which is an exceptional spiritual experience, which only happens when you are at a certain heightened emotion in love. And like I said, initially I felt it's not possible for me. And then when it happened, and I could feel actually it's an amazing experience, and you feel every cell of your body is awakened, and without even the presence of the person around, and just when you feel that, oh, you are so high in love, and the person is like, you are a psycho, and he also left. So my point is that if spiritual love, if love where you can actually feel someone around even when they're not around, you can feel heightened emotion when you burst into tears every time you kiss. If that's psycho love, I love it. Because my boyfriend say, how do you know I'm lying? How do you know I was there? How do you know everything about my life? It's telepathy. It must be black magic. So I don't believe in if my love is psycho love, then I don't want to have that ordinary love, what you call it, dead love, where you do work out in the name of sex. No, I am not up for that love. So for me, love is something which has to be extraordinary. It has to be a spiritual experience. If that makes me a witch, I am okay being a witch.
I think I love this phrase, psycho love. Psycho love is such a cool phrase. I think it just explains the kind of love you're looking for.
So if you're not, so I, like I said, the other one also left in the similar circumstances, like you are a psycho. I'm like, fine then, I'll find someone else.
Oh, well said. So clearly you're not once bitten, twice shy.
Not at all. I've lost count how many times I'm bitten now.
So, okay, so here's the thing. You referred, in the public domain, we know about the bad experiences you've had with men. What is it that draws you to men who seem to be just losers? And I can say that now. I hope I'm not hurting any feelings.
It is unbelievable that even though my sister also says, where do you find these characters? But even then, I have to admit that every time I've been dumped, I have never got the opportunity or the privilege of dumping someone. Every time. There has not been a single relationship from the age of 16 to 31 where I could dump someone. And if I tell you the names, you'll be like, even this person left you. Yes, it's true.
You want to drop a name?
Huh?
You want to drop a name?
No. So everyone leaves me and they come back also. That is also one truth. They come back and never take them back because by the time I have moved on to another loser. But it is shocking that I am being like, I must be like, you are such intelligent, amazing people listening to me, and I want to be someone who just sort of, dump someone, jao, aaj ke baad apni shakal mat dikhana, but I just never got that opportunity in life.
So has...
Rather ran out of questions.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I'm just filtering quickly. I'm just putting filters in. You're a very bad influence. I think I can say anything. And I just remembered that this is going out on live TV. Oh dear. Kangana, you're a bad influence. You're a bad girl who's a bad influence, and you're a badass feminist.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to talk about work?
Work? What is that? Okay, anyway. Yeah, work is, I hope my film Manikarnika, you guys watch it. 15 August is the release date. And yeah, that's something which is completely taken over my existence. And we've done our best. And I really hope that it strikes the chord.
So, okay. Let's zoom out of you a little bit to your view of the world. We were talking earlier, and you mentioned something about language, about the use of language and how English and someone who grows up speaking English thinks of things in a certain way. And it was very interesting. You said the word nationalist, has been interpreted in a certain way, and you think it's been misinterpreted.
No, I think we were talking about the whole Rising India and what is Rising India. What Modi ji said yesterday, that Rising India is, what is Rising India? Is it the economy, or is it the culture? It is the people. I agree that it's the self-respect of our people that definitely needs some sort of upgrade. Because I meet a lot of people and I see that these days it's become very, very cool to say bad things about your country, or I think it's not these days. I think it's just the deeply rooted inferiority complex that's been instilled in us through the whatever history that we have, of like a really scarred history that we have of our motherland. So there is this thing that I hear youths always complaining, whining, ye desh kya hai, isme infrastructure nahi hai, itna ganda hai. I am in Manali these days, I go for a run. वहाँ पे इतने टूरिस्ट आते हैं, इतने रैपर्स फेंकते हैं, and my security is witness that I go collecting each rapper and shoving it in my pocket. And कोई लोग वहाँ पे सुबह टांकी भर देते हैं तो सुबह वो 5 बजे तक पानी ओवरफ्लो हो रहा है. I even go to their this thing, they can't recognize me. वो मैं टैप बंद करती हूँ, they can't recognize me. अरे तुमको क्या पड़ी है पानी की यार, बहने दो. So my point is this attitude. This attitude is not okay. अरे देश गंदा है तो आप क्या है, मेहमान है क्या? करो साफ. इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं है, ये नहीं है, वो नहीं है, तो क्या चाहिए आपको? जाओ जहाँ का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर अच्छा लगता है वहाँ जाओ, थप्पड़ पड़ेंगे इमिग्रेशन पे, वापस भेज देंगे. So my point is, ये सब बातें करने से कुछ नहीं होता है, इससे कुछ नहीं होने वाला, दूसरे देश के गुणगान गाने से कुछ नहीं होने वाला. I am not saying that, you know, I always had this enlightenment. I always felt कि हाँ ठीक है, I had to invest in a property. I was seeing properties in Europe. I was even dating a white guy. But my point is that doesn't, I individually want to elevate myself. It's not possible. Get it? I am as good as my country. I cannot, without my people, I can't rise myself on my own. If I rise my country, if I rise my people, then only India will rise, and then when I go anywhere, thank you, then people will say, she is an Indian. She is an Indian, and that will be my identity, and I won't need anything else. I won't need my personal, अरे मैं actually ये हूँ, to get treated nicely or to have some privileges. So I think people don't understand this anti-national. So I said in some interview कि यार I am a nationalist. अरे तुम तो उस टाइप की हो, अच्छा कैसे होता है nationalist? उस टाइप का क्या होता है, मतलब ओ अच्छा that fundamentalist type. No. I personally feel that there is a lot of confusion between these words.
Okay, so Kangana, us type ki nationalist ho, when you say that phrase, in the last few years, nationalism has been a subject, a topic, a word that's been discussed a lot, right? Nationalism, you're a nationalist, you should stand up for the national anthem before watching a Kangana Ranaut film. You're a nationalist, don't get Pakistani artists into our movies. You're a nationalist, don't criticize the army. Okay? You're a nationalist, don't make movies about anything that's halfway serious and real. Where do you stand on this interpretation of nationalism?
देखिए, sorry, I lost the, what was the question? Please repeat it.
Okay. So, in the past few years, we've had a heated discussion and debate about nationalism.
Yeah. So, nationalism, पहले तो इससे पहले मुझे तो word का मतलब कभी सुना भी नहीं था. The good thing is, and the good news is that अब तो ये शब्द तो निकला कि nationalism भी शब्द होता है, तो you can have a choice कि आपको nationalism में विश्वास रखना है कि नहीं रखना है. For me, I don't have a religion because I think anything which has outlived its relevance should be sort of upgraded. So I feel that I have only, but I, as a youth, I need to see growth in my life. And I have come to this conclusion that if India doesn't grow, I don't grow. I am an Indian, I'm born an Indian, and I have no other identity.
And you're avoiding my question.
Okay, and coming to these points, they're all very different points. Now coming to the point where our soldiers are fighting on the borders. कुछ लोगों का कहना है, कुछ आर्टिस्ट, जो कि आर्टिस्ट हमेशा esoteric होते हैं, you know. So एक world है, esoteric एक world है, जो कि it's a space which is of energy. जब आप आर्टिस्ट हैं, तो आप उस रेल्म में होते हैं. अगर आप बाउंड्रीज का ध्यान रखेंगे, बॉर्डर्स का ध्यान होता है, यू कांट क्रिएट. बट एक फिजिकल रेल्म है जहाँ पे इट इज़ अ स्पेस जहाँ पे मैंने आपको कहा कि आप जब लिखेंगे यू विल राइट फॉर ह्यूमैनिटी एज एन आर्टिस्ट. लेकिन एक फिजिकल वर्ल्ड में जाके बोलिए किसी सरहद पे जब बैठ जाइए यूरोप में बैठ के कि मैं तो ह्यूमैनिटी का हूँ और मैं तो सारी ह्यूमैनिटी में विश्वास रखता हूँ, मैं तो घर वापस नहीं जा रहा, तो आपको रहने देंगे क्या वहाँ पे? सो माई पॉइंट इज व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट physical boundaries and you're talking about borders, why to be esoteric? You should know that you're talking about a place where people are losing lives. Coming to Pakistani artists at that point of time where the country is vulnerable, where people are struggling and trying to cope with emotions. Abhi defense kaise hai? Now come to the, let's deconstruct it, because we can't, ऊपर ऊपर से बात करने का फायदा नहीं है, करना है तो let's deconstruct it. Defense क्या है? Defense is because of our taxes. मिनिस्कूल लेवल पे ही अगर मान लीजिए आपको पाकिस्तान पे जो आर्टिस्ट है वो यहाँ से पैसा लेके जा रहे हैं, वेयर आर देयर टैक्सेस गोइंग? जब हमारे बच्चे बॉर्डर पे लड़ रहे हैं, वेयर आर देयर टैक्सेस गोइंग? सो माय पॉइंट इज यहाँ पे ऐसे बातें करने की क्या जरूरत है? हमको क्या लेना देना, हम तो आर्टिस्ट हैं, ऐसे नहीं चलेगा. Because above everything, you are an Indian, and when you are talking about boundaries, you can't go into esoteric world and say कि oh मैं तो artist हूँ. The same with the nationality. अगर आपको Americans की सब चीजें पसंद है, see how they stand for their national anthem like this. आपको क्यों शर्म आती है अपने देश का नाम लेने पे? अमेरिकन से
कंगना।
कुछ सीखना है तो ये सीख लो ना अमेरिकन से,
कंगना,
अच्छी बातें सीख लो ना आप उनसे।
Kangana, you're making a very persuasive argument, and yet, if I were to be devil's advocate and say that आप मुझे, अगर मैं आपसे believe, if I don't agree with what you say, मैं आपसे सहमत नहीं हूँ,
That's fine.
तो आप, you will criticize me.
That's okay. I don't mind, but I'm going to stand for my national anthem. And whenever there is something for my country, I'm going to side with my country. I'm going to side with my soldiers and my army. And I am the cool youngster of 21st century.
But you will respect my right not to agree with you.
Yo. But I won't be friends with you.
Okay, all right. Quick questions from the audience. Oh my God. We can take only two. Kangana, you get to choose, not me.
Yes, please, sir.
Yeah, Kangana, you are the rarest combination of beauty and brain.
Thank you, sir.
And you are aspiring or bidding for a political role?
Sir, my point is that I personally feel politics is a wonderful field because I don't think कि जो लोग politics has been again a name which is so misunderstood. अरे ये politics करते हैं politics जो है जो हमारा लोकतंत्र है अगर वो ना हो तो हमारे क्या है जैसे हम लोगों को पहले इन्वेड कर लिया था and we were completely stripped off our everything that we had. If we don't have politics, if we don't have government, we don't have a country. So politics is not bad, but what I don't like about them is their fashion sense. I don't like how they're dressed. So if I go into politics, I will never wear those clothes. And I don't think politicians are going to be okay with that. And the way I speak, I think no party would be interested in hiring me. So I'm fine. But if they allow me the clothes that I wear and I can have fashion, little glamour in the politics, I don't mind. I would love to lend my services to my country. Why not?
Okay, pick the next question. Pick. It's all up.
Yes, sir. Please.
अरे पीछे भी देखो, कंगना.
हाँ?
सिर्फ सामने मत देखो, पीछे भी देखो.
अच्छा. आप जाइए.
Okay, can we, so...
Oh, Bhupen.
No, not me. I'm not asking any questions. Don't worry. I'm refraining.
Since I chose you, okay. My question would be...
Yes, sir.
I met you in the sets of Queen about 5 years back.
Ji.
And I find a major change in what Kangana at that time and today.
Yeah.
At that time, I felt that you were quite shy. You were difficult to meet, not able to answer all the questions. And what made you to change so much? Is it the overconfidence or confidence or success in the Queen film, or what is it? Because we are all proud of you for your success, and not only for success, but of course your...
Success doesn't changes you.
We are all proud of you.
Oh,
We are all
thank
proud
you.
of you.
Thank you so much.
What changed? Why?
Success doesn't change you. Success doesn't do anything. It's the failure. जो जिंदगी से धक्के लगते हैं, उसमें इंसान को अपनी औकात समझ आ जाती है, और जब औकात समझ आती है, तो उसका दिमाग ठीक चलता है. Please go.
Just one more. If I could just cover it. You know, Prasoon ji is here, and Prasoon was listening to the entire conversation very intently. And he and I was actually asking him, truth be told, that I said that is this acting that we're witnessing, or is this reality of Kangana Ranaut? So he was very candid. He said, no, this is the way she is. She's a rebellious character. So
आपको बड़ा शक है मुझ पे.
Full marks to you. मैं politics cover करता हूँ ना.
ये हमारी टीम में नहीं है बिल्कुल भी. इनसे बच के रहना.
इसलिए मैं सवाल नहीं पूछ रहा. इससे मैं कोई सवाल नहीं पूछ रहा. But since the conversations were so intense, Prasoon ji has a lovely poem about humor, the relevance.
Why don't you let Prasoon ji recite the poem?
No, I had to set the context.
I don't think I want to, okay, if you're asking. कह रहे थे कि कोई लाइट हार्टेड, तो मैं बहुत लाइट हार्टेड तो नहीं लिखता हूँ, पर एक लाफ्टर पे मैं आपको सुना देता हूँ कि चलो हंसी को रिवाज कर ले, चलो हंसी को रिवाज कर ले, है मौन एक मोतियों की माला, कभी किसी पल जो टूटे टक से, है मौन एक मोतियों की माला, कभी किसी पल जो टूटे टक से, तो टिप पे खाते हजार मोती यूं खिलखिलाएंगे, जैसे सोते से पानी जागा हो बाज पर सोते से.
क्या बात है.
है मौन एक मोतियों की माला, कभी किसी पल जो टूटे टक से, तो टिप्पे खाते हजार मोती यूं खिलखिलाएंगे जैसे सोते से पानी जागा हो बाद बरसों के जंगलों में।
वाह।
कभी हुआ ना जो आज कर ले, चलो हंसी को रिवाज कर ले, हंसी लुटा के हंसी जुटा ले, हंसी लुटा के हंसी जुटा लें, ये छोकरी है बलिष्ठ भर की मगर है करतूत कमाल इसकी। ये छोकरी है बलिष्ठ भर की मगर है करतूत कमाल इसकी, लगा के ठट्ठे जो गूंजती है हवेलियों में, लगा के ठट्ठे जो गूंजती है हवेलियों में, पुराने चांदी के बर्तनों को रगड़ रगड़ के कोई दिखाता हो धूप जैसे। नए नगीने तलाश कर लें, चलो हंसी को रिवाज कर लें, कभी जो बागों में झूलती है, कभी जो बागों में झूलती है, ये खट्टे आमों की कैरियों सी खटास लेके, या फिर गली में भी दौड़ती है, या फिर गली में भी दौड़ती है, ये फालसे की हर एक ढेरी पे अपने जन्मों का हक समझ के। ये तोतली सी चवन्नी लेके सुलगते गुस्से पे कूद पड़ती है छींट बनके, पलक झपकते ही दूर जाती है खिल्लियों सी। ये दूर है, इसको पास कर ले। चलो
क्या बात है, क्या बात है।
No, we cannot do anything after that poem. Come on, the evening has gone to a sublime level. इसके बाद और कुछ नहीं. Kangana, thank you very much.
Thank you, Anuradha.
I want
and you were wonderful.
I want you to promise here to everyone here that next year when we do Rising India again, that's when Kangana will come and talk about sex. That's like a real hope.
Definitely, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank